Hello guys, today I will be showing you how to make a sprinting system in Roblox Studio. Let's start by creating a local script inside of starter character scripts, which is inside of starter player. A local script only runs on the player's client, which means changes only happen to that one specific player that has triggered a specific event or something like that. Its icon looks like a blue script with a little monitor in the bottom left. Now we're going to make a player variable and assign it to the local player. The local player can only be used in local scripts. Local player is the player using the game on their own screen. As you can see, if I go to the player service under the workspace in the Explorer and look down on its properties, there's a property called local player, and the property is assigned to my username. For you, it will be your username. For anyone else, it will be their username. Next, we're going to make a char variable and assign it to the player's character. You might think we already have the player's character when we made the player variable, but that's not true. The player is in the player's service. As you can see, when I open up the player's service, there's me, and players have their backpack here, which shows which tools a player has. And they have player scripts, which can display GUIs and much more. But the character of a player is located in Workspace. Since Workspace is basically everything visible on the screen, now we have to get the service UserInputService, which basically detects when a player has pressed a key on their keyboard, a button on their controller, or a mouse button. Okay, we're done with the variables. Now let's get to scripting. So here I wrote down InputBegan, which is an event that's called when a button or a key is being pressed. When I press the L key, this event fires, although it will do nothing since we haven't told the script what to do. Let's connect this to a function. As you can see, this function has two variables, input and gameProcessed. The input variable represents the specific key, mouse button, or controller button that was pressed. The gameProcessed variable is a Boolean value, which means it can only be true or false. It basically checks if the game has already taken care of a specific button. For example, the spacebar is used for jumping, so the variable will be true. Now let's make an if statement, which checks if the left shift key was pressed. Okay, here I wrote input.KeyCode, which basically means we pressed a key on our keyboard and not a controller. To detect mouse buttons and controllers, use input.UserInputType. Then we check if the left shift key is pressed. Now here you might wonder, why did we use this Enum thingy? Enum is a way to access a list of preset values in Roblox. For example, Enum.KeyCode contains every key on the keyboard. You need to use enum because the script needs to know exactly where the value is coming from. Writing Enum.KeyCode.LeftShift tells the script that left shift is a specific keyboard key, not just a random word or number. Now let's make the character sprint. Okay, so here we wrote char.Humanoid. The humanoid is a child of the character model. Let me show you to make it easier to understand. So let's say this is someone's character. If we look inside the model, we will find a humanoid. This humanoid also has its description inside itself, but let's not worry about that for now. If we click on the humanoid and look down on its properties, we can see it contains properties like health, walk speed, and jump height. So for this system, we'll need to change the walk speed of the humanoid. I'll make it 30, you can make it faster. Okay, now we need a function to make the player slow down when we stop holding Shift. We will do that by making the same thing, but instead of the InputBegan event, we will use the InputEnded event. This one fires when we stop holding a certain key or button. Now, let's copy the previous if statement and paste it inside this new function. And instead of 30, we will wear it 16, which is the default walk speed. If you want to change the default walk speed, you can go to Home, then click on Game Settings, select World, and there will be a property called Walk Speed, which you can change. Now let's play test this. As you can see, when I hold Shift, I go faster, and when I stop holding it, I go slower. Now, you have probably seen how in games the FOV changes when you sprint, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So first, let's make a variable called cam and assign it to the current camera. Now, you might think that current camera is a service, but it's actually located in Workspace. As you can see, if I open up the workspace, there's the camera object. Now, in the camera's properties, we're going to search for the FieldOfView property. This is the property we're going to be changing. You might think that from now on it's easy. All you need to do is add 15 or whatever number you want to the FieldOfView property. But that's not really true. I'm going to do just that to show you. As you can see, it does work, but 'tis not smooth. Most games have it transition smoothly from the default FOV to the increased FOV. To actually make that, you need tweens. Now, if you don't know what tweens are and how they function, I recommend you watch my previous video on tweens, so you understand what's happening here, because I'm not going to explain it in detail right now. So first, let's make a tweenService variable. Now, let's make information about our tween. I want the transition to be fast, so I'll put 0.2 for the time, and let's choose the quad easing style. I'm going to go with the in-out easing direction. There won't be repeats, no reverses, and no delay time. Let's create the actual tween now, with all the information about it. So the instance we're going to be changing is, in my case, the camera. Since we're changing its FieldOfView property, then we put our information we just created, and then we create a table within the create function this time and increase the FieldOfView property. Now in my tutorial, I made a table outside the create function. But this time, we're only changing one property, so I made a table inside the create function and wrote FieldOfView. When writing this, it's important to correctly write the property with the capital letters. Then we're going to make the tween play when we hold Shift. Now to reset our FOV back to the default one, we're going to make another tween. I'll name it tween2, and here we put camera as the instance. The same TweenInfo and the same FieldOfView property, except we're setting it to 70 this time, which is the default FOV. Let's play test this now. As you can see, my FieldOfView changes when I hold Shift. It also resets when I stop holding Shift. This works in both third person and first person. I hope this video helped you understand everything. The script will be in the description. Make sure to comment what you want me to cover next. See ya.